I think you're going to really like today because it's 2026 now. It's go time. And Dolores Cannon, one of my favorites, predicted three things about this new earth. And it is proof that it's happening now. But here's what you're going to really love. I'm going to tell you about the three things. I'm going to tell you which side of the new earth split you're on. And I'm going to tell you to not worry because I'm going to explain how that works. Because you might be thinking right now, there's no way I'm going into this new earth. When's this happening? It might be that you're in it and it's challenging you in a way you never expected. It's not a coincidence that you're here watching me right now. So let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube. I'm here to help you break through the fears. Everything's an illusion. Everything. Everything except for the essence of who you are that drives the reality around you, that created this. But today, I'm going to explain to you why Dolores Cannon's predictions are proof that we're in the new earth split right now. How does that work? What are the three predictions? Are you in the new earth? How do you know if you're in the new earth or at least going into it? And what does that actually mean? Now, I hope you will subscribe. And if you click that bell, you'll get notified of these videos first. Those of you who are members of mine, you get to see these first. Make sure you click the bell too, because you'll get notified when you get that private video. Go down in the description and anybody can sign up to be a member. We're going to go live in there and we're going to have more of these discussions. I want to answer your questions. So let's go into the three predictions that prove the new earth split is here. For decades, Dolores Cannon has warned us about the splitting of worlds. And it sounded a really bizarre back when she spoke of it. She described Earth separating like a cell, dividing in two. And for years, we treated this as a metaphor or a distant theory. I'm going to talk about exactly what that split means, how it works, and where you are in it, because I want you to know that this is one of the most amazing times that you're participating in. And this could be the best year of your life and continue onward as we go into the golden era. But looking at the events of 2025 and the start of 2026, I'm here to tell you the theory is over. The reality is here. And you might be thinking, how could we be here? It doesn't seem like anything has improved. And you might not have really enjoyed 2025. It might have been a little troubling to you. That's going to all smooth out in 2026. But something else is going to take its place. We're going to go over that in detail in order for you to transition into that new earth. I'm going to confirm the new earth split is not totally complete. Some might think it is. I'm going to explain why I don't believe it's complete. And most important, how to make sure you're standing on the right side of the divide. So more important, I'll explain what that process is and put you at ease as to whether or not you're joining the new earth versus the old and how you will know. Because right now, you might be thinking, I'm not ascending. Things are going wrong, Landria. If you saw my last video, how do you interpret the events in your life? I'm going to explain that to you today. So the cell division prophecy, let's go over that. Dolores' concept of the two earths. Here's a quote from her. She said, the earth would pull apart like a cell. On one earth, people would continue in chaos, violence, and heavy karma, and unaware anything had changed. On the new earth, people would say, we did it, we made it. Yeah. And in some instances, she insinuated that some people would die to experience that. And that may happen. So you might be thinking, I'm not sitting here thinking, I did it. I'm thinking, holy crap, there's a lot of really nasty stuff still going on the planet. The reason why 2026 feels so intense is that we're currently seeing the tension of the final separation. All right. The two realities are moving further apart, stretching the fabric of our society. So now I'm going to speak as a collective. The collective is us being able to observe everything. Just because you're going to New Earth doesn't mean you're not aware. And I'll explain that in a moment. But first, I'm going to give you evidence, the three signs the split is happening now. So proof number one. So let me explain that Dolores's quotes and the things I'm going to share right now came from higher beings through people that she hypnotized. She did not channel herself. They would speak to her through these subjects who had no clue that she was writing books or getting these messages. And these beings would actually pick up the conversation where they left off, no matter where she was in the world or who she was talking to. None of her subjects were aware of those conversations and that this was taking place. These beings would start to speak to her, and they dictated material for these specific books. Dolores said through this information that the vibrations would become incompatible. You guys are experiencing this, but it doesn't make somebody wrong, okay? It just means that they're working on a different level, a different thought pattern, different beliefs, and they are so incompatible that they can no longer remain in the same room. Let me explain how this works, and then you'll understand why old systems are collapsing. My father has many mansions. There are endless forms of existences out there, and beings, and adventures. Planet Earth is one of them. It's a mansion. Within it are floors. There's a penthouse, there's a basement, but there are many floors in between. We have free will here. That means that we can pick and choose whichever floor we want to reside on. But we get information on each one of these floors, valuable information. We all came in the darkness, in the unconsciousness. Some went straight up to higher floors because they experienced the not knowing what they were, but they didn't stay in the negativity. Others have remained down there. They're very rooted in what we call the 3D world. It's just the physical world, and not aware that they are something greater or that they are actually co-creators. The more you go into knowing that you are co-creator in consciousness, that you're so much bigger and that you are not just this, that this is a learning experience, that you are never punished, that this is not a prison planet. This is a agreed upon experience in learning a teaching. It's not negative, although some of the lessons are very painful. And they hurt because they're hurting on a 3D level, never on the 5 or greater or whatever. And I don't even like to say 5D because it's so much greater than that. But because you are eternal, you've always been and you always will be, there's never really punishment. You just go on after you learn or you don't learn. As you learn, you go up the floors. There's some real value in those floors. It's not just I want to get to the penthouse. You want to learn and see what's in there. And once you know it, you have to know it. That's consciousness. I become more aware. Oh, there's this, and oh, there's these relationships. That's how that works. This is why my parents and I had that relationship, and I blamed them, and now I realize where that was coming from, their own fear, and I have to go into love, kicking it up floor by floor. And you get into the penthouse. You're either in the penthouse or you're not, okay? That's the new earth. So along the way, you will be choosing different frequencies. You're either in fear and chaos or love. And I'll talk about the mansion and the different floors here in a moment for your own personal experience to decide whether you're heading in the right direction or not. So let's talk about the extreme polarization in global news, conflicts, politics. Whenever anybody or institution or organization want to override free will and control others, it's on a lower frequency. It's not working together as community, all right? It thinks it knows best and it's going to try and control. That's when we get in trouble. It's not just disagreement anymore. It's like people are living in two different dimensions. You probably can't relate to it. You might be hearing it. You might be aware. So let me just share something. When you're in the penthouse, you can hear. You can hear what's going on out there. You can see the fires burning or the smoke or the darkness. You can see it from that. You're aware of it, but you're in the penthouse experiencing what's in the penthouse. Okay? People don't treat each other badly in the penthouse. You can't get in there if you're doing that. So on the lower frequencies, you'll be experiencing that. I'm going to go into detail because don't freak out yet. You might be ascending in a way you never imagined possible. So have you noticed you can no longer reach certain people? That's the vibrational split physically manifesting. Have you lost some loved ones? All right. Have you lost jobs? Have you lost certain positions? Have you lost your enthusiasm for life this way? And now you're seeing life so much simpler. Doesn't always mean it's easier, but it's going to take you into peace. And you're going to move past that fear and you're going to realize I am going in a higher frequency. I'm seeing this life differently. So those two sides, this one's going to fight harder and it's going to be totally incompatible with this because those people on any frequency into the new earth, that higher frequency, that's all it is. It's endless. It's not the basement or the penthouse. There's all floors in between, will want nothing to do with this. It will be aware. Now, further up you go, the more you're aware of what's down there without entangling with it. Right? That's how it works. Those down there, it's going to get more intense because it's losing control over all of this. All right. And it continues to want more and more, and it's an endless pit of ego. Proof number two, the collapse of old earth systems. We're seeing major ones happen now. The old earth is rooted in control and fear over people, over countries, over governments, corporations, how we earn all of it. And we're seeing more and more of that control going into place in all areas on the globe of those who live in the basement frequency. Control and fear, because it's always acting on what it thinks it's going to lose. So it has to gain the attention or the money or the control, whatever it is always based in fear. You're going to see that accelerate because it knows that it can't control everything and everybody, and that there are those who simply want nothing to do with it. Now, you got to be careful with this because your reaction to that must be coming from love. There's some other floors that are coming from violence to battle that. Okay, that's not the new earth. That's something in between. It doesn't stop you from going to the penthouse. So the 2026 evidence, the fragility of global banking, the AI race, controlling that, how it's reacting to us, technology control versus ethical awakening. The old earth creates chaos to maintain the control. The crumbling of these systems isn't a disaster. It's the necessary shedding of the old skin. The new earth participants will not be participating in that world. So it loses its control because we're not fueling it. You cannot consume things that are bad for the earth or your body. You have to clean everything out, the toxins, everything. So you have to live that life, even though it's tainted with the old toxic world. We still have to make higher choices because then it loses its control. If nobody's buying its toxins or eating its garbage, guess what? We're over here flourishing because those who are making higher choices are the ones that will be rewarded. The meek shall inherit the earth. So the shedding of the old skin, the crumbling of these systems is a very positive thing. It's like anything. When you work out and you get your muscles bigger, it hurts. You get really sore before those fibers break and rebuild and get bigger. That's what's happening. Point number three, the physical earth shaking off density. So Dolores Cannon and Edgar Casey both spoke of the earth as a living entity that must purge negativity. Mother Earth, planet Earth she's conscious, she's alive, she is intelligent, she doesn't have a brain or think like we do. See, we can't imagine anything outside the human body structure. We have violated her because Earth is a living entity. This is according to Dolores and Edgar Casey, a living entity that must purge negativity. So those predictions that Edgar Casey gave, they're blowing everybody away about like everything's going to break up and disappear. Well, that's part of aging anyways. But much of that is the unhealthy state of the planet that we created, not her. She's perfect. All right. So you're going to see more breaking up according to how we treat her. We can lessen that. And I believe that is why we're not in that situation right now. Yes, stuff's happening. It's going to continue, but not on the level if we continue to go into the higher frequency. So we've seen recent strange weather patterns or geological shifts. The poles are shifting. They have been since 1998. They began their journey. This will continue on. We have control over how fast these things happen. So Mother Earth is ascending. She's physically shaking off the density of the old earth. And if you're holding on to fear, you feel the shake. If you are in alignment, you will feel the rise. So those are the three main predictions or heavy into them so we know we are in the split. So most important, I want to explain that process. I want to put you at ease as to whether or not you're joining the new earth or not. The house has many floors. Let's talk about you're either in the penthouse or you're in the basement, okay? The two splits. In between is the transition. This is still happening now for many of you. So you may be finding yourself in a floor somewhere in between and experiencing that reality so you can learn the final lessons that you need to clear out the ego or the hate or the jealousy or the anger or the resentment. You have to clear those out. You can't just go to the penthouse and hold on to these. Do you have patterns that you see still showing up? It's time to break them. But you have to look at them and say, why have I had these negative patterns or negative loss or negative, this consistent illness? Why? I have made that choice. If you're still blaming other people, then you don't understand your power of co-creation. And so that is you understanding what you are takes you up to the higher frequencies, and these things dissolve because they no longer are required to teach you. So what happens in between this floor and this penthouse are experiences to cleanse you and help you get those final teachings and clean out karma. Heavy karma is going to stay with 3D. They're just piling it on more and more. You can clean out any karma because you learned the lesson. It's no longer there holding on to you because you're moving past it. So how do you know if you're going on your way up? First of all, you're going to know if you're practicing love, if you're trying to focus more on non-judgment, but just be. Trying is the ego, wanting to place yourself here over here. Just be that. You have to go into a space of love, compassion, non-judgment. Stop analyzing everything and know that you're going to experience things that are going to be mind-blowing for you right now because it's placing you in opportunities to go to the penthouse. That's all it is. So things might appear to be perfect for you. Oh, it's the perfect job. It's a perfect relationship. And then it falls apart and you say, oh my God, I'm not going into the penthouse. I'm still in the old earth. What am I doing wrong? This is the time when you look straight at it and say, why did that happen? Did I do anything in here that could have been better, kinder, whatever it is? And then you take a look at yourself. You decide whether or not you behaved in a manner that was inviting this, or if it was a relationship that was meant to depart or split up because you're not supposed to be in it, because these two frequencies are going to repel. So some of it's going to test you. I know my friend Nikki, and you're going to hear about this. She's launching her channel right now. She's on the road. She gave up everything. She's living in her van and going from town to interview people. She sees orbs. We're going to do some really cool stuff. But she got challenged when she got on the road. Why? Because it's unfamiliar. And things that are unfamiliar, even if where you were was worse, we have a tendency to not want to go to this other space. It's uncomfortable. I know this. I know discomfort. I know worry. I know struggle. And you want to go back to it. All right. That's what's happening in this new earth split that you might think you're not going into. You're going to have to shed this and say, okay, I have to see this differently because everything that happens to me is an opportunity for positive change. Everything. And I chose that if I don't like the choices I'm making, ask myself, did I learn that lesson? If I did, then those things that come around constantly to me in a pattern will end and new things will come in and I'll embrace it. And it may be uncomfortable. Maybe you've never had champagne. You think it's too la-di-da and you're up in the penthouse and just work with me on this. And so you don't think you deserve it or whatever. You can't get in the penthouse if you're thinking that way. So you have to go into this worthiness. Source doesn't make a mistake. Everything it makes, it's created, is perfect, including you, and you are the essence of it, which means you also are a co-creator, as is everything. Everything's connected. So you're going to feel that more and more, and those connections are pulling apart, and they may cause great discomfort. Great discomfort. Okay? When you start to align yourself with the new world and the new earth that is more free and open and lets go of all the things that are holding you back, you'll move past the uncomfortableness and you'll go into a space of beautiful new earth living. So how do you anchor yourself? You become the observer. Go as the observer effect. Step number one, Dolores taught that fear is the anchor of the old earth. Go sign up for my free inspiration down there if you want to learn more about this. But I knew that fear was the driving factor of everything. And what's behind it? The ego. When you see the news, do not engage emotionally. People like Eckhart Tolle would say, shut it down. Observe it like a movie. You are entangling with everything you place your attention on. Okay? If you don't need it, shut it down. Number two, clear your karma, forgiveness. This is how you're going to go up to higher floors. Maybe you're on this floor, you're not moving up. You cannot take heavy baggage into a higher vibration reality. Who are you still angry at? Forgive them today, not for them, but to cut the cord that ties you to the old earth. Know that whoever wronged you came from their own fear, their own lack of love, their own unconsciousness. Can you blame them for that? You're expecting them to be perfect and treat you perfectly in certain situations, which means you're not understanding that everyone is a part of you. So when you forgive that, you forgive yourself and you become free. Step number three, focus on creation, not reaction. Old earth is reactive because it's always the ego protecting itself. The new earth is creative. Your purpose all is in creation because that's truly what you are. You are a co-creator. You're the essence of everything you see out here. And none of it is separate from you. None of it, including those beings you think that show up on earth that shouldn't, because everything's on a different level, has a purpose that we can't understand. New earth is creative. So if you're going in creative space, Nikki's going in creation, all my students are going into creation. Those who are ascending continue, even though sometimes it's difficult. Some will quit and they'll go back to this space, say, this doesn't work. Of course it works. You are unlimited. You want it to work, you'll find a way to make it work. Not the way the ego wants it to work, but the way creation and the place creation is going to take you to. So spend 2026 creating the life you want, ignoring the collapse of the systems that you don't need. All right? Observe. Focus on creation, creation. We're creating that new earth. We're rebuilding. The new earth participants know that we have to produce food differently, that we have to clean differently, that we have to eat differently, think, communicate differently. So we become creators in all kinds of areas, and every single one of you has a beautiful talent and a light that shines just as brightly as anything in this universe. Everything is equal. The choices are not. The choices allow you to know what darkness is. Is it time for you to choose light? Where are you in your life? It doesn't mean you didn't make it to the penthouse. It means these floors are very uncomfortable, but don't skip them. Learn. What do I need to change here? Take a real good look at yourself. If you fight to stay over here, in a job or relationship or whatever else it is that is not cohesive, it's not working well, you're missing out on the opportunity over here, the creative space over here that says, here's something new that does work with you. Here is the new person, the new job, the new income, the new health, the new way of eating and functioning. Here, we're going to introduce you to new things because you opened that door. All right? You're not down in the basement here saying, I'm fighting to keep this. Does this make sense? And that's what's happening right now. So don't freak out saying, oh, I couldn't possibly be in the penthouse. All these things are going wrong. Yes, they're going to continue to bless you with teachings, and you're going to see them different and say, thank you. I get it. I get it. I have to stop hating that person. I have to end that jealousy. I have to stop abusing my body or cutting myself down because I don't think I'm as good as other people. I have to change that. And I'm fully in power of that. You are fully in power. Those of you who want to come into my membership will see all of my videos first. They're usually a day in advance, sometimes sooner. We have open conversations in there, and I'm going to go live every week in there. So you can go down and click, join the membership, and examine my description of products. Some of you hate Amazon. That's okay. Of products that are not in Amazon, and support the businesses that are doing the right thing. That's not putting toxins in your body or in your home. You have to be the new earth. You have to live in the penthouse. There are no toxins allowed up there. All right. So step back and embrace this opportunity. It's accelerating, and those things that are crumbling, again, they just don't resonate. They cannot remain stable on an unstable foundation. Let's build yours. I have many videos on Edgar Cayce and Dolores Cannon. I'm going to start reading more of her stuff that's really shocking and how this works. So stay tuned for my videos. Ring that bell. Move forward with acceptance, because those of you who've read my book know the final chapter is called The Knowing. You stop asking questions. Only ego requires answers. The knowing is way above that. It just knows so much it can't explain to other people what that means. Are you in that position? I would love to know. Are you in the knowing? So are you on one of the floors? All right, let me know in the comments. I'm on the floor on my way up. Or yes, some big things are happening right now. Or yes, I'm disconnecting to some things. And you might be feeling a little sad or down about it. It might test you. The more you stay in this new world and you understand it's this is beautiful and positive for me, change that story of what it means. You're usually crying because it's not only just change, but you feel like what's happening is negative when in fact it might be beautiful. You can share your journey with other people. You can come into communities. Stay tuned. I got some great stuff. Chic Sustainability is launching right now, and we're going to start making so many higher choices. You're going to get creative, and I hope that you will join me in this journey to the penthouse. It's the journey that's the fun part. And then you can tell people what's on each of these floors and how crazy it was as you take a sip of your champagne and say, oops, I can hear some craziness going on out there. Oops, sorry, you got to go down in that lobby and make your way up those floors. You can't do it for them. Did you have fun today? I did. Please give me your questions in the comments and I will answer all of them. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. You are absolutely perfect. Oh, I wish you knew what you were. Some of you might. You are a perfect light of creation and a creator of all other things that are unlimited. Just stick your hands in those tattered pockets and pull out those jewels, my friend. Sending you love. Namaste.